need to double check we are live. One time it like would refuse to go live for me and I was horrified. So
yeah. Hello everyone.
Are we live? It still says 0 people are watching.
Does
it's
it?
live on mine. It says 22 people on mine.
It says live. Okay.
Yeah.
Mine says live too, but there we go. Now it's live.
Yeah, StreamYard takes a while to pop it in. I have it open on YouTube.
Oh, people are saying hi. Yeah, I see that.
Yeah. I got my little YouTube notification because I'm a real fan and I have hit the bell for this channel. Everybody hit the bell.
Hello.
I only hit the bell for a few people, man. I wish StreamYard showed the emojis. They're so annoying. Get it with
Oh,
it.
yeah. So it's a heart.
Right? I'm looking at there's a heart book sack.
Hello, Bobby.
Hi. Oh, and I do want to say my TBR, I don't know where my head was at. I definitely said the wrong book. So thank you to people who messaged me and said I had the complete wrong book in my TBR for next month. I was 2 months ahead. Like I wasn't even close.
Hi, Tori.
Hello.
Hi, friends.
We're here for Whisper of Roses, which was my first by this author. So
it's your first by Theresa. Oh wow.
Me too.
I'm
like,
wow.
Okay.
My second one.
I've been reading her books since I was like 14 because we have the same name and we spell our name the same way. So I was like, I need to read all of her books. So I've read like
a valid
reason. Books. But it was all when I was like 14 and now I'm like 32. So it's in a minute.
Yeah. I definitely want to read more of her now. I didn't love the first one that I read by her, but
which one did you read?
I read After Midnight. My book club did the vampires. So
okay. Have you guys? None of you guys have read her time travel duology? Then
no.
Okay, that one is interesting, and it's the one that always sticks in my mind because I always think I hallucinated this, but I'm pretty sure I don't. Like the heroine goes back in time, and because she's a witch, and she shaves her leg with his sword.
Oh my gosh!
She's like a courtesan because only prostitutes shave their legs.
So, oh my god!
Or the French. The French
yeah,
things.
Yeah, no, because it was like medieval times, and so like it was like the French, but like it wasn't the French. It was like he was like, oh, are you from Egypt? Like,
how? Oh no!
Yeah. Oh my gosh!
Yeah. I know she has a lot of paranormal and like fantasy ones. So I was actually. Like when I bought this, I thought this one was paranormal because I was collecting hers.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, this one's just normal.
I've read most of her historicals. I haven't really read her paranormals.
Yeah, I have a few of them.
Is she still writing? Does she still like publish books?
No, she doesn't. Not that I know of. But again, it's been years since I've read her book, so it's really fun being back to her writing.
Yeah.
Did you read this already? Like, was it a reread for you? Or
I didn't know I had read it. I had to and I was like, oh yeah, I've read this.
Yeah.
I
wish she had audiobooks.
Like, oh my God.
It's tough with this book club in particular because we're reading things before the year 2000, so a lot of them just haven't come back with audiobooks. It's kind of
like with a sword. I didn't hallucinate it. Okay, good. I'm so happy.
Yeah. No, and I was nervous because this month I just had my TBR was so large. So when I only had 2 days to read it, I was like, oh no, this is gonna be tough. But I flew through this, so I was excited.
It was a good book, so it was easy to fly through. I think should we start with our readings? Jessica, you want to start with the readings?
Yeah. Well, I just finished it, so I was planning on doing like the whole thing Sunday, and then when we pushed back our live show, I was like, okay, no more cramming to read. I just finished it today. And I only had like 50 pages left today to read. I don't know, like I loved the first half, and then it definitely like took a very different turn and like the entire tone like shifted. And it didn't feel like as Highlander-y anymore, which like I was loving the Highlander aspect. So I think I'm gonna give it 4 stars. Cool. I'm interested to see what you guys say because I haven't seen anybody's reviews yet. So
I saw Christy's.
Yeah, I gave it 5 stars.
Oh, okay.
I loved it. Yeah, I loved all the like Highlander setting and the whole like hate to love, like have to get married, the secretly pining, like all of it was just really fun. It was just a fun adventure. So 5 stars.
Yeah.
How they knew each other when they were little.
Yes, I love that.
He is slingshotting her corset.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gave it a 4.5. I also loved it. A couple things just dropped it for me, and mostly it's like, this is something I need I have to have an epilogue. I have to have one, or I take a half a star. So it literally would be 5 stars if it did. And I know that's something that happens in old school. But when I get dragged across the coals to this level where I'm like, I'm loving it, it's good. If I don't have an epilogue where I'm like, I need to see you 2, 3, 5 years from now, like I need that, I drop it. I know that's a petty reason, but it's my reason. I need to like breathe. Like I have to breathe with them. And literally they didn't even get a full, it was like a half a page where it was like, oh, they're wedding, they got remarried, yay. And I was like, yeah, that's it. Oh gosh. But I loved it. I know, I'm weird, I'm quirky, but I had a great time with this book. I actually ended up putting flags in it even, which I don't really do with these, but I was like, I want to remember that quote. I'm gonna cry about it. It was great. So
Yeah.
I cried like 5 times. No,
It's so beautiful.
Solid like tears.
I think it's 4 for me too. Honestly, like I remember loving it when I was younger, and that's because it's like that angst and that like happiness. I mean, it's just, and like it's almost reminiscent of like my favorite Julie Garwood books at the beginning with like that like hate to love and that banter. Yeah. And like, I was like, oh yes, I'm loving this. And that part 3, like I don't forgive her for that. Like but that doesn't mean it's not a bad book. It's just very angsty for me. And I'm so sorry. My dog is throwing his food in the background. So
You're fine. Oh my gosh, Albie, 1.5 star. How funny. I'm so sorry. That's so
no.
I agree with all of you. I gave it 4 stars as well. Like Jen, I love epilogues. I'm that type of person. Like I want 2, 3 epilogues. Yeah. Like that's my favorite part of the book. I just love when our characters are happy. Same with Christy. I loved the childhood sweetheart trope. Like one of my favorite tropes, like again, the magic has that trope, you know? Yeah. And then, same with Jessica. It was just a little long towards the end. Like I thought this was going to be 5 stars. I kind of stopped reading when we delayed the live show too. I finished this book on my lunch today, and the last half just didn't excite me. It was kind of boring. It kind of dragged. So the beginning was really strong. I just wish we got like it tied up too quickly without too much of a romance for me at the end. So 4 stars.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think part of it too, why this was so high, is it had so many things that I don't conventionally see in like an old school, like a really, really great parents. Yeah. Love having great parents. Like I was sobbing over her dad. Like I was sobbing over her dad and just everything he was doing for her, that he literally set this up for her. Sorry. Like he literally knew that she was pining and he like made this happen. And then she doesn't seem happy about it. And he's like, I thought you'd want this. I thought I was doing the right thing.
Yeah.
But you know, I don't know. For me, that was there was just so many things that in old school, I feel like I normally have to like walk past and just be like, oh, it's happening. And I feel like she turned a lot of those on their head in a lot of ways. You know, the things that were still there, there's some racial slurs in here, and there was some, you know, like fat-phobic stuff, but that was part of the story. Like it wasn't done, like that person who's doing that is a jerk who's doing that. Yeah. And so yeah, anyway, sorry. I'll let you ramble.
I did want to touch on the body shaming, because like they would make fun of Enid. Was that her name?
Yeah.
But then she like found a man and like was okay with her body. So I feel like the people were fat shaming her, but like the author wasn't promoting that. They were like, this is the time. But then look at this guy who's like, give it all to me. Like he loves that about her. So
who doesn't love secondary romance? Honestly,
I know.
Well, and that's why what I mean is like I feel like those are done in books, and it would have been hate. Also, the other thing, the other woman in here had like redemption stuff. Like I was like, normally that person, like what's her name, the cousin or whatever, who is like waiting in the bed, like she is like, you know, trying to ruin things, and then it's like, why are you making this a thing? And she like has like, she's with the old man in the end. Like all those people that are usually like, oh, it always has to be a bitchy woman who's gonna be there, but instead like she was on her side by then. Like I don't know, that stuff doesn't always happen. Usually she would have been the evil person. I mean, there was
the villain.
Historical for sure. That's a pet peeve of mine. Like when the villain is a woman and she's like super ugly, or you know, they're calling her, you know, body shaming and like all that stuff. I'm like, why? Why does it have to be the stereotypical like jealous, ugly villain? Like it's just gross. So
I was reading this.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's what I was looking at.
Yeah.
I don't think she owed him anything. Do you think she had a grovel?
Yeah, I don't think she had to grovel. I think they both just had to realize they both deserved each other. They both made mistakes in this one. Like,
yeah.
The fact that he, like, because he doesn't feel like he deserves her, or he would have went after her. He would have never let her leave. Like, if this was a different, like, I was like, this was a dark romance. He's not letting her leave. He's gonna lock her in the room and be like, we're gonna be okay. You know what I mean? But it's like, I don't know. The darkest part of it, like, we should bring up another one of the trigger warnings of violent animal death. I almost had to walk away from the book. It worked because it was like a sacrifice to save her for me. It's like he even thinks later, he's like, he had to die so I could save her type of thing. But oh boy, I was immediately like, hey, best friend who's going to read this book, this has a very violent animal death. Be prepared for that.
Yeah.
All the trigger warnings that don't exist.
I know, that's historical romances. When you go in blind, it's always like you never know what you're going to get because trigger warnings were not a thing. They didn't list those.
Yeah.
But
I feel like even like Kingdom of Dreams had a very rough horse death. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I really thought of that one because I always compare Kingdom of Dreams whenever I'm reading something that's not set in England, which I need to stop doing.
Yeah.
Her writing gave me very much like not Judith McNaught vibes, because I hate Judith McNaught, but like Garwood vibes. Yeah, very similar writing style.
Yeah.
I think she's a little bit more artistic in her writing than Julie Garwood. I think sometimes Julie Garwood really relies on her humor, and Theresa Medeiros, that's how I always say her name. I don't know how to say her last name.
It works.
Always relies on her, like the poetry of her writing. Like you said, there's so many quotes in there that I'm like, that's gorgeous. Oh my god.
Oh yeah. There was so much. There was so much. And the other one I was going to point out, A Heart of Blood and Ashes has the same type of animal death where it's like it was to save someone type of thing.
Animal deaths get me.
I know, they get me too. And they're never trigger warnings. Like even in like modern stuff. Like also though, I feel like people don't write them as much. Like animal death, like your animals were your tools and your friends and your partners in a lot of historical, like cowboy ones. So if an animal's died.
Yeah.
But in like we don't have that in contemporaries very often where an animal's dying there.
No. So. Christy, I think you're so right. 93. This was written in
That's what I just looked up.
Yeah.
93.
This was on my birth year list that I never got around to.
Oh, I love it.
Oh.
So close to the 80s, and like all 80s books are just like pretty much all of them. Like anytime it's 1980s, I'm like, well, I'm gonna prepare myself.
That's why I was surprised how much I liked it too. Because I saw it was 93. I'm like, oh, I was nervous. And even after the prologue, I was like, okay, I'm in here. And then, just
because when I read older historicals, I never give them a pass for being older historicals. Like I know some people do.
I do. We know.
Good or bad. Like there's no time frame for me.
Absolutely true.
And I feel like if this were to come out like now, I think it would do well. Like I think the historical romance readers now would actually enjoy this, and it wasn't just good because it was like peak historical romance time.
Yeah. I did appreciate.
It kind of reminded me what I'm like missing in modern historical romances. Like so few of them work for me these days, and it's like poetry and emotion and like sweeping epic stories. And I just think that sometimes it's a little bit surface. Like the historicals I've read recently are kind of surface.
Absolutely, it wasn't just about like rights or something. Like you know what I mean? Like so many historicals now, and I'm throwing some shade, but I'm also just being honest. Like I haven't read one lately that's been about more than that lately.
Right. Give me some stakes. I want some real stakes. Like they had like it was epic.
Yeah.
Now, I think that publishers would publish a 400-page epic romance, historical romance these days.
Right. They're really short now.
Yeah, they're really short. They're like
contemporary level
50 pages. Like
like 8-hour audiobooks. I'm like, how are we having a historical? It's an 8-hour audiobook. That's so
I know.
Well, and it's a little interesting to me too because this book, like a lot of romance, this does have like miscommunication.
It does.
Not talking, but the reason leading to the miscommunication is they've been enemies. They've only recently like shared feels. And there was like a murder attempt that's left her, unable to walk. Like this is a like reasonable miscommunication, even though it's still ripping you apart. I'm like, oh, this hurts, but like the pieces were laid out. Like there is seeds being sown, and the villainess of this, she set this up, and like it worked, you know. So it still hurts when it's happening, but I wasn't like, wow, if you'd say 2 words, it would be fixed. Like, this isn't a 2-word fix thing. Like, she has trauma. There's PTSD from both of them. Like, he could have killed her, you know, he could have killed her to save her, and then she leave, you know. Anyway, there are actual stakes to the miscommunication, and so it's believable to me that people who had barely just started to have feels would break it, you know?
Yeah. I like to read the Goodreads reviews for the book club, not for like other books that I read, just to see what other people thought about it. And most people who rated it lowly was because of the miscommunication trope. And surprisingly, that didn't bother me at all. Because like you said, it just felt believable. Like, we had this whole backstory. We had other reasons that was keeping them apart. It wasn't like a contemporary where it's literally they can't learn to speak, you know, and it's being dumb. Like,
a commitment phobe or something, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I get this because that's the way everybody talked about her, and that was her like one character trait. But then she was pregnant and like happy.
I don't know.
I really
I mean, some people, like Nikki, if that like really was affecting you, I totally get it. For me, it was like she loved her cousin so much, but like it was a fact, and they didn't talk about it in other ways about it. But it was also a thing that saved her from being in a horrible marriage to a horrible person. If she hadn't been that, she would be married to that jerk face. And instead, she got the wonderful man that she did. So I don't know.
That whole scene where it was like they had to pretend he was like her long lost like dead husband or something. Just like, to make them laugh. That was so funny. I was like, you guys are like a little over the top, but I love it.
All the side romances. The pup, when she leaves him, the pup. Oh my God.
It was cute. And she was like, oh, his paws were all dirty and got my bed dirty. I was like, I can relate to that even today. My dog's getting my comforter all dirty after coming in from the rain. So,
oh my God, my dog just got a haircut. I wish he was with us right now so I could show you. He's outside, but he just got a haircut and he looks so cute.
Oh, no, I love the part with the dog at the end, like with the mom, and like that she finally tore down the like glass windows because the dog was like having a hard time breathing.
Yeah. But like Jenn had mentioned the second romance, like the second story.
Yeah.
I love when like romance books have like a side story again, the magic.
Yes.
I just love it. I just feel like it adds more to the story and it makes sense why something's so long. I love it when side characters have a side romance.
It makes everybody feel very fleshed out. When you care about them. You know, she's not just maiden number 2. Like, she's her cousin and we love her. And
have you guys read Susan Elizabeth Phillips, like contemporaries, any of hers? She
does. I hear great things.
Highly recommended.
Yeah, you know, you have to be a little careful. I mean, they were like, she does contemporary romance that was written in the 90s. So it's a little, she's a beautiful writer, but her secondary romances are all so fleshed out. And I think it's just a testament to a good writer, because in 400 pages, I've read romances that I'm like, I still don't feel like I read like a good romance, like the main romance. And like, not only did I like the romance in this, I like the secondary romance. Like that, like again, magic. Like that's good writing.
I also historical. Sorry, go ahead, Jenn. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was gonna like ask about how we felt, what the who done it, like how it was laid out. So I was gonna kind of change the subject. So if you
that's fine. No, that's fine.
Because I wanted to see, like, did anyone else know who, like, guess like who she was? Like, obviously we know that she does it because at the end of part 2 we know. But I would not have guessed the relation there. Like, I
didn't guess it at all. Like,
I thought she was like his sister or the mom.
Because that was another reason why it was like 4.5 for me, like over a 4, is because I was like, I thought it was going to be a jealous like love. And I mean, I guess kind of because of the, but like literally she was raped by him. That's what I could, if she was 12.
At 12,
So, anyway, did anyone guess that? I had, like, obviously I knew it was her, but I did not know or the how or whatever. I was a little confused about how the incident actually unfolds, but either way.
Yeah, I didn't guess it. I do think the end, it's weird because I say it dragged, but then the ending felt rushed. Like, I feel like we were missing some explanation on like how things were down, if that makes sense. Like we spent so much time in the middle of this like weird, like it dragged a little bit, and then the end was just like, okay, we're done. And I'm like, all right then.
And it was glossed over. Like you just found out your dad got this 12-year-old pregnant with you, and you're like not mad at the dad. I was like, there was no villainization of the dad. It was just like, oh yeah, this happened. And like, yeah, I killed him. And then it just like, we didn't get his reaction really to knowing his dad did that. It was just very glossed over and moved on. Cause I like you said, it was rushed.
I feel like he didn't like his dad anyways. So like, he was just like another
he
thing.
He
like,
reacted out of honor and shock. Yeah. Like that was, you know, cause he felt like she had tricked him into giving his gun. Like,
well, and he was kind of glad when the dad died. So I don't think he cared for him.
Oh my gosh. The part where he knew the gun was fake. Oh my gosh, I love that so much. Sorry, I just threw back to it because we talked about it. Like, first, I love that Elizabeth puts the gun to his head, and then when she's down there, he's like, "Tell your mom next time to use a real gun. Your brothers tricked me with that gun all the time. I knew it." And I was like, "Oh, like that's when I was really getting into the book." And I was like, anyway, loved it.
Yeah,
I love that.
I really like this one. This one was a good one. I think it's like one of the better ones that we picked for sure. Just for the simple fact that if it came out now, I would love it still.
Yeah.
And it was definitely like a slow burn romance between them. Because like what I appreciated, going back to the comment saying it didn't really read in its time. The fact that their wedding night, he like cut his arm and like made it look like they consummated their marriage, but they really didn't. And he wasn't like pressuring her into it. I was like, this is not like your normal historical romance hero from the 80s and 90s. Like, this is nice.
Yeah.
And the amount of downstairs attention that this hero gave. Do we know what? We all know what I mean, but I don't know what I mean.
Yeah.
The amount of that, I was like, he did more of that than like the regular stuff. I was like, I'm impressed, Morgan. Good job, my sir. I was proud of him. Yeah, okay.
I did.
Yep. I also want to bring up Elizabeth because some of the lines that I highlighted were like a line where he says how enamored he was with Elizabeth. And like, you know, what's her name? Selena feels like it's, oh, well, you only want me because you love my mom. But he's very clear that like he loved her as like a mother. He was enamored with her to have a mother. And, you know, that also just fuels how much Eve hates that family too, because he's like, your dad always wanted her, and then like you wanted her to be your mother, and like I just wanted this to like not happen, you know. But I just loved Elizabeth, and I love that she was English, and I just love it so much. I would have loved to read the dad and mom story too. Like I loved their love, that there was both of the parents were alive, and they both were good parents. Like I just like that. So. Yeah.
Is this a series? It's a standalone?
I think so.
It's a standalone.
Yeah. It's a series. Yeah.
Well, she doesn't. I mean, she writes mostly standalones.
Yeah.
That's kind of odd for a historical. I feel like a lot of times with historical, it's usually in series, and like that random side character always gets a book.
She writes like 1 to 3 book series. I feel like it's like she has a few duologies. She has a lot of standalones, and then she has like 1 or 2 series.
There's like a bunch that all have like the same style, you know, in the way they did with like Julie Garwood.
I hate
where like even one's not connected. This one,
I don't like that cover. I don't know why I don't like it. I
love the rose.
I just think it's like
I love like he finds the flowers in her and then he's like, I'm getting her.
They did like harp on the roses a little too much. I was like, I get it.
Well, it was like a Beauty and the Beast retelling.
Yeah.
It is?
Yeah.
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 Which I didn't really see.
I didn't really like this Forbidden West Wing and the like flower breaks. Like he breaks.
Yeah, the roses, and like the fact that she went to live with him at his like, you know, dilapidated castle and like had to help fix him up, and he's kind of like he can't read, he's kind of a mess. And like she went there to help her family and then like leaves and then of course comes back. Like
so like a loose.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the Beauty and the Beast cliche is that they say that about all these mafia books, that the only way they follow them is that he's mean. Like what? Like but
I feel like for historicals in particular, Beauty and the Beast is like the most common retelling. You have like Amanda Quick, Peregrine Byrne, you know what I mean? Like very few like Cinderella. Well, now I can think of Cinderella ones, but I feel like Beauty and the Beast one is very popular.
It's
very popular. I thought it was done in a different way than like the classic, like he's scarred and she's like,
right.
You and like I'm like,
he's internally scarred.
Yeah, he was internally scarred.
Thing.
I didn't understand though, like his cousin Ronald, however you say his name. He's the one who like helped Eva. I don't remember her name. But he like wasn't really in trouble for it. Like they outcast the woman, but like the other guy was like, okay, like how dare you? But then like nothing happened to him. I was like, he literally is the reason why everything happened with your wife. Like he helped instigate that.
That's true.
And like, sure, he's your cousin, but like,
he gets a cold shoulder from Eden, and that's like all.
And that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's true. Yeah, I was very confused by that, but yes.
Also, this had to do with her smell, right? Like she smelled like roses, and that's why he was talking about it. But like it was all the time. I was like, I get it. Like
you smell like roses. Yeah, and then they crushed the roses between them. Yeah, that's the bit of like romantic flu that gets put in, like whatever.
It like also said, more poetic. I feel like that is something we're missing from newer historicals. They're not as like sweepingly romantic, very poetic. Like Julie Garwood, Beverly Jenkins, like that.
Yeah. I believe this is the original Cindy. It says I have a first edition. So
yeah. And it has a step back.
I don't have a step back.
I got
that's
this.
I don't even know one.
Oh, I hadn't seen that step back.
I haven't seen that before.
That's on the spine.
I love the step.
I have the one you have, yes, but this is just.
And he's in a little mini kilt.
I have no idea where that book is. Like, I literally think it's in my closet somewhere. I had to read the ebook.
Oh no!
I checked the ebook out from the library.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, this was reissued in 2007.
Yeah.
So it says that it was published in 93, but that this is the release in 2007.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I remember something I was gonna ask. So, question: did anybody else, when they were young, see a movie of Heidi that had a very similar scene for how he gets her to stand for the first time? Did anyone watch that when they were young? And that Heidi has a cousin. Hold on. Heidi has a cousin that is in a wheelchair from an accident, and like she's just been such a horrible like brat, and she refuses to try to learn. She complains. Her family is like cosseting her and be like, no, it's too stressful for her. And so to like prove it, her cousin just like dumps her out of the chair and is like, you can do this, believe in yourself. And then she gets up and like walks and stuff. Did anyone see that?
Oh my.
Seen it. People know what I'm talking about.
Okay. No.
I've literally watched this movie. My grandma had it on VHS and I watched it all the time. And that end scene, I would cry every time because her dad has been trying to help her. And she just is like, no, Daddy, I can't, because she didn't want to look weak. So instead she stays in her chair. Anyway, people know what I'm talking about. I feel there's a
Shirley Temple Heidi. Like,
there's also one that isn't. That is the one I'm thinking of. There's one that's it's on a mountain and everything. So there's two, Annie. There's one that doesn't have that in it, but there is also the Shirley Temple one that would have the same scene, of course, because it's the story. But there's a specific version I think of. But anyway, this was like that. So how about the fact that there was a heroine in a wheelchair in this book? Like, I didn't realize we were going there with this story.
Right.
I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, I don't know. I felt like it was well done for what they were doing because it is a temporary injury, and I know some people don't like how she was, but obviously it's overdone a little. But I do think it shows a version of like trauma and PTSD, whereas the like, I don't want anyone questioning me or talking about it or pitying me, so I'm going to be the biggest brat so that you'll hate me instead of pity me. And that's not fun or flattering, but I do think it was like an option that would happen is to go that way. So I'm not saying I like that, but I appreciated how she did that one.
I love how you phrase that, Jen, because I always like try to think about how I read like historical romances like previously, like when I was young, like when I was a teenager, versus how I read romances now that I'm in my 30s. I'm like, I always try to sympathize with the heroine. Like I always try to like unpack the like internalized misogyny that I'm like, is she mean or is she just being a human, like with human emotions? And so I really like how I completely agree.
Yeah. I mean, there's different ways to react. Like there is the term where you want people to pity you, or you want them to hate you, or you know, are so sad you can't get out of bed. And she's like, she's doing some of both. So she's not supposed to be likable when she retreats into that, you know?
Right.
Yeah. Well, it seemed realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all the servants are scared of her, and she's just being horrible. And that's when she's really mean to her friend, because she knows that, or her cousin, because she knows she can hurt her cousin and get her cousin mad at her. So, and hopefully leave her, because she feels like she ruined her cousin's life by having her like leave with her. So,
yeah. I'm gonna rate a lot of people rated it lowly also because they said the heroine was annoying, and I was like, I didn't feel that. There's a difference between being annoying and a difference between the character growth. You know, like that was a part of her character growth.
I completely agree.
I don't know if any of you have read Night Secrets by Kat Martin, but like the hero ends up getting crushed. He's like a ship captain and his legs get crushed on like the high seas, and he like becomes a recluse, and like they bring the heroine back to try to like coax him out of it, just like they did here with like the hero was the only one who could really like reach her in that dark place. And that one came out in 1993 too. So I really liked how both of those deal with that and how hard it is to deal with going through something like that, especially during the time where there's no research and no help. Like when he pulls up with a wheelchair and they're like, what is that? I love how they were able to use that, but it was like something brand new that nobody really used during that time period.
It'd be interesting to me to see if people wrote in the reviews that he was annoying while he's in the wheelchair and being a recluse and like
no, people love the damage scarred hero. So
which I feel like we see it happen to the hero all the time.
Right. Well, and I mean, we all know they always give a heroine a hard time. I thought she was a little annoying in the beginning part where like, but they're both fighting. Like neither one of them wants to reveal they like the other person. I think she's a little annoying how harsh she is to her dad when I'm like, your dad has spoiled you because you're the baby girl and like he loves you, but you could literally save the clans from war. Like, people haven't told you what your duty is. I don't know. For me, I would be like, people haven't told you what your duty is, apparently, because you could stop war and you're being like, Daddy, why do you hate me?
Well, I mean, you're being forced to get married. So, like, I feel like you want it to, even if it's someone you might want, like, you still want that choice.
But not in a bad way. But love matches were not a thing during this time. It was all of women's marriages. So
and that's dad was trying to make her one. Like that's the thing too. He admits like I've seen you looking at him and he's the only thing like I wanted to find a way to give him to you. Like he says that. I'm like, what your dad does that? Like I don't know.
You know him. At least he's not some like old man that
But the fact that they were like, you're gonna get this, this, and this, and my daughter, and he's like, well, I would have rather taken more chickens. Like, he just like pokes at her and pushes her buttons, which I think set her off.
Oh yeah.
But let's begin with the humor. That was so funny.
Well, and I think she more was resisting because she didn't want to be in a marriage where she was loving the person and they didn't love her.
Yeah.
Like that's why she was like, Dad, how could you do this? Because she's like, she already loves him, and she's like, oh. No, this and he doesn't love me
because he like thinks I'm a brat.
Right, and he is saying that she's a brat because he likes her. So I love it.
The beautiful pining was
pining gold.
And it's hard. Like it took them forever.
It was 400 pages. It's a long book.
time.
Yeah.
And they finally got together, and then it's like, nope, this is gonna be thrown in now too, and she's gonna run away. I was like, they just got together. Like,
yes, you don't like seeing them be happy together anyway. So why?
I know. Well, you guys are all going on about your epilogues, and like I skip those part of the time. So I want them to be like 3 or 4. I'm like, I am dipping out now. Like,
listen,
we all have our preference.
Yes, I know we're getting an HEA, but if there's like a difficult scene, I will flip a couple pages, be like, when does this resolve itself? Yep. I need our characters to be happy. I love it.
Yes. Yeah, this was angst for sure, and it was clever. Like, I don't think it goes over the top with humor, but the lines were like it was still pretty like quippy and just kept me like kept me going. And I'm a sucker for arranged marriage and the house the clan falls for the person. So I just love that. I love, like I said, I love that she won over the cousin who was taking off her clothes all the time. And I love that she won over the old, like when she invited the guy for tea and Morgan's like, she won't sleep with me, but she has a man in her room. And he like runs up there and they're having tea. It's so cute.
And like singing.
Yes. Like I was trying to learn songs for you. Like, it was so, that was so Beauty and the Beast. I just love that. So.
And it usually happens with Julie Garwood though too. Like I feel like what you guys were saying is so reminiscent of Julie Garwood.
Yeah,
it was like a blend of Julie Garwood and like Maya Banks' Highlander romances to me.
Maya Banks too,
Yep.
Except Maya Banks always has the people hate the girl, which
for sure. Yeah, it's true. The clan,
say, I love Maya Banks, but she does do that where it's like
the hero
loves her and everyone else hates her, but he'll be like, she's my woman, and then they torture her until she's ready to snap.
I don't know if we're ever getting another Highlander romance from Maya Banks.
Oh, we don't.
Oh, I feel like it's never gonna happen. I know. Teresa, aren't you the one that has the
library hold? Oh wait, it's been
library,
I think.
I just
got rid of my Highlander one for whatever reason. They like took it off the market. I was like really sad.
Well, and then it switched publishers. I think that's why.
Yeah.
Right.
So the KGI series, which I've been reading since forever, I've had it on hold since January 26, 2018.
Wow.
Its expected release date is November 29th, 2022. So
is it coming November?
So many times.
Doubtful.
Well, the Highlander one has had a release date since 20 whatever, and it's just moved because they don't ever take the book down. They want to keep you on it.
My forever hold. It is my forever hold. It's like, I mean, when I get like really desperate, I'm like, oh God, do you have a bug? That's a bug. Sorry.
Oh no.
I got scared.
I'm sorry. I don't know. I've heard Maya Banks is going through health issues. That's the rumor on the series. I really wish her well, but I really wanted the KGI series, another Highlander series.
And I haven't started any of them. I have all of them, but I haven't started any of them.
That's story of real life, Samantha.
That is so true.
I own all of them.
Yeah. I haven't like other ones too, but anyway, I mean, obviously I want her to be better, but at this point, I mean, I'm not really saying this, but I'm like, just have her come back and have it be a ghostwriter or something. I don't care. Like, I don't want to know that, but like, just have someone do it. Like, just I need that last brother. I need the last brother.
We are talking about Maya Banks, Lana. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. But I don't know who's the one who recommended this author because I don't see a lot of people reading her historicals.
No, this was a live show recommendation. I do remember. We asked but when we were picking our thing, we asked what authors do you guys want to see? And Theresa was one of those authors, and then Jess and I just had a bunch of her books.
Yeah.
It wasn't this specific title.
I'm shocked you guys didn't choose Yours Until Dawn because honestly, I think that's her best book. And you should not read any reviews. You should not read the synopsis. Just like read Yours Until Dawn because I think it is.
I have that one.
It's one of her best books.
I think I might have it. I'm not sure. The way we pick books is by the author, and then if we both have the book, and it has a decent rating.
I know we have to do a good reason now that we quickly learned our lesson.
Is that one in a series or the standalone?
No, Yours Until Dawn is not in a series.
Okay.
I also like her, like I said, I like her time travel book. I like the second one better. I usually just skip the first one because the first one is the heroine comes from the medieval times and goes to modern times, which the modern times is like the early 90s. And so I'm always like, it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But the second one is like.
Is the Charming the Prince a good one?
Charming the Prince.
That's the pretty gold one that I always want to read, but I
remember not loving that one, but maybe I am. Maybe I am losing my mind. I remember not loving that book, but I don't like royal romances very much, so you can't really trust my judgment on those. Yeah, Yours Until Dawn is her best. It's like, but just
that one has high ratings.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Is Charming the Prince Rapunzel retelling? What retelling? Cinderella, Rapunzel. Because I remember I was doing a video for like some retellings, and this always came up. I can't remember what it was though.
I don't remember if I've read it. I honestly don't. But I know I've read Yours Until Dawn, and I know I've read like a bunch of our other books. So I probably read that one.
It's a
bit blind though, because I never do that.
They look the same.
They really do. They kind of look like the Amanda Quick books.
There's this one too.
For romantic suspense ones.
Oh my god, they look exactly the same.
Yeah.
Is that another one of those? That's so annoying.
Once an Angel. And I thought it was part of the series, and this one says it's Sleeping Beauty, and it's set in New Zealand.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think that she just like picks themes.
Yeah, she does a lot of fairy tale retellings.
Ooh,
Yeah,
this
I
is a
have
pirate one.
10 of hers.
Oh.
It also, I think for Heather and Velvet is that the first?
Yes.
The first
Yeah.
is okay. Because like inside this one it only shows 2.
And Charming the Prince is Cinderella, Samantha.
Cinderella.
Yeah.
I knew it was one of those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Thief of Hearts is the other one that looks exactly like this one. So I thought it was
Mhm.
that one has crushed flowers on a shore.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because we have like these and like Julie Garwood's where they have like the objects, but then like we have like Joanna Lindsay where it's like
The clinch
I don't
cover.
know.
Yeah.
I don't know who they chose who got
Yeah.
the discreet back then and who didn't.
Yeah.
Well, this one is Bantam or Bantam.
Yeah.
But Amanda Quick, same thing. Her covers look so similar, and they won't be connected.
Mm-hmm.
I love
True.
Amanda Quick.
Heather
Hers
and
all are like
I
on.
know. Amanda Quick is pretty great.
Oh God, I love her
I
heroines.
also, yeah. Anyway, I will definitely read some more of these. I do wish they had audios because that holds me back from these.
Mhm.
But I definitely would read more. And Yours Until Dawn, I have it. You don't want me to know anything about it? Okay.
Don't know anything. Just go in. Just read it. Just
That one's
read
a whole decade later. So if this was her third book, I am intrigued by when she's
Her writing later.
writing, like what I would like, because I don't always have so many quotes that I like in an older historical, you know?
Yeah, she gives her characters a really hard time. It's very angsty. It's very fun. It's very like like it feels.
Yeah.
When I got this one at my like used bookstore, the bookseller lady, she was like, "Oh, she was huge in the 90s and like nobody reads her stuff anymore." And she was like, "This is my favorite. This is my favorite. Read this one."
Oh my
I was like,
God.
"Oh, okay."
I love that.
I never get booksellers who talk to me about romance. One time I found the Christina Dodd like 3-armed cover
Oh yes.
at Half Price Books, and I was like so excited, and I was like worried they were gonna like upcharge me. So like after she like checked me out, I was like, "Do you know what this cover is?" I was like, "Do you know what this book is?" And she was like, "No." I was like,
I don't think she
"It's
cares.
3 arms."
That was literally me. Like I was at kind of like a Goodwill store. It's like a thrift store that sells clothes, but they happen to have an amazing book section. And I freaking found like 10 Beverly Jenkins. I found Indigo, the first edition of Indigo, in like a Goodwill.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking you. I was in the aisle like passing out her books because I was like, "You need to read this. Like, do you understand what you have?"
There's the one by my house that I always do my big hauls from. That one is they're 2 for $1. Like when I went last, someone had donated all of their Julia Quinn, and that's where I finally found an offer from a gentleman with a step back. I've been looking for that book for 7 years, and I got the freaking step back for 50 cents. And I was like, yes! I felt like the queen of the world. And they also had one of the like original Duke and I as well, and I was like, 50 cents. I got them both for $1. For $1.
I have people who message me saying they found Where Passion Leads for like 50 cents, and I'm like mind blown by that.
Yeah. See,
I found it for $1. Yeah.
Yeah, Jess and I live so close together that I'm like, every time she goes to like Half Price Books, I'm like, damn, I can't go there for like another taking all the good stuff. And so like I have my Goodwill that I go to, and she still hasn't gone there yet. And I'm like, thank God. Like I have my Goodwill. It's a little bit far for her, so I'm like, okay.
Yeah. It's like you have your Half Price Books that I never get over to because it's far away from me, and I have mine. So
I know anytime I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go out to the Lewis Center Half Price Books, I'm like, oh, Jess has probably just been there.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. My secret spot was during the pandemic. The bookstore I loved closed, and I was devastated.
yeah.
Yeah.
Teresa's books are all so different. They're all very $500. Oh my God.
Honestly, I will fight that person. Pull up, because like I think that price is ridiculous. I paid $40 and I feel like it was ridiculous.
I know I'm gonna find it someday. I have faith.
I mean, if people didn't buy them for that, they wouldn't be able to be sold for that. I would just say that.
So true, yeah.
Like let's be real. Like we see it and we're like, I'm so happy when I find one for 50 cents, but there are books on my list that I would pay $200-$300 for if I had to pay. You know what I mean? Like I would. Like
I don't know for $300
I got mine off of Amazon for $60, and I was like, yes. But
yeah, I wouldn't. I like the hunt. That's half the fun.
Me too.
Oh yeah, I do. Digging. But also, some people don't have access to like the stores. They're not willing to wait. You know, like yeah, I have 1,200 historical romances, so I'm like, I can wait till I find. You know, like I'll hunt. But I got lucky with my Topaz. I have an original cover of Topaz, and I got it off of Amazon for $3. You know, sometimes
I got that one on Thrift Books pretty cheap.
Yeah.
I got it on Thrift Books too. Thrift Books is a really good place. I talk all that mess, but the other day I was at work and I was in this bidding war with someone. And originally in my mind, I was like $80. That's my limit. It got up to $300. And I was just like, no, going. And I lost.
You did not. Okay.
No, I lost. It wasn't because I was not willing to spend this money. I literally lost the bidding war in like the last 20 seconds.
Oh, no.
It was a gothic romance, the original cover of Gaywick, which I'm just like, you can't find it.
Oh, yeah.
You can't find that cover.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
$300.
But the thing is I was so dedicated to it. I was like, I don't care who's on this other screen. If it's like their wife or something, just upping the price. I need to win it. It's addictive. I have a problem.
Annie, I honestly am convinced that people do not donate their Beverly Jenkins. I have found like 2. Like
no,
yeah.
I have like 10 in my closet. Teresa, send me your address. I'll send you a bunch.
Okay, I might do that. Honestly, like I never find Beverly Jenkins. I'm like,
I find them all the time. I do. I have good luck with her.
Because but I'm also someone like if I find like sought after book and I know my friends are looking for it, I'm like, oh my gosh, look what I found. Here you go. Like I just like pass them out. Like too. I know Samantha, you do that all the time. It's just like,
I do. If it's popular, I put it in my closet until someone wants it, and I just send it to them.
I go, no one's going to appreciate this like our community, so I'm going to buy it and make sure that someone who will appreciate it.
Yep.
Like I'm not messing around with this.
Yeah, I don't charge them. I just send it like a little surprise. No, being serious, send me your address because I have so many of her books.
You're the best.
I feel like this happened on the last live show too, where someone was looking for an edition. You're like, oh, I've got an extra. I'll send it.
It was Alicia. Yeah, it was a Johanna Lindsay book.
Yeah. Okay.
Old school Lisa Clay.
Yeah.
Oh, Tori, I wish I had one for you.
I finally got all of mine of those.
That's my theory with Beverly too. Yeah. Honestly, I just think.
Oh, 100%.
Someday I'll find it.
But I have talked about this. I think the reason people don't find Beverly Jenkins books is because, it's so annoying. They won't put her books in the romance section. They will put them in the African American history section.
I had to look over there.
Like nonfiction, just because it's, a black couple on the cover, they put in the African American history section.
That's a good tip, though. Maybe I need to start checking it. So.
They shouldn't be there. That's what's annoying about it.
No, it shouldn't. It's really annoying. They do the same thing with Rebecca Weatherspoon. It drives me insane.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it says like Avon, or whichever on it. Like, why you put that in? Like, they don't have that.
Yeah.
But I'm a menace in the bookstore. I will reorganize their shelf. I'll put it in the romance section.
What are you guys reading right now? Speaking of.
I am in a reading slump, so I'll tell you about the last book I'm reading. It's that Sam Niscosta book that just came out. General title, Moon-Blooded Clinic or something?
Yeah, Moon-Blooded Breeding Clinic.
Oh, it's divine. It's a werewolf romance. It does have trigger warnings for infertility, though. But it's like a praise kink, but like the good boy kink. Oh, I love it. I love it so much.
It's also like because it's a fertility clinic for wolves, because wolves can get people pregnant easier than humans are. So that it was pretty hot. Like, it's my favorite one. I think it's my favorite one.
She wants a baby, but she's having infertility issues, so she goes to this werewolf clinic and like has her donor. I can't say things on Jessica's channel, but she falls in love with her donor, and it's so cute.
And have that on my September TBR.
Read it. It's fabulous.
I can't wait.
I loved it.
I read her Girls' Night, and I give it like 3 stars. I thought that she's still kind of finding her like as an author, but I do like her.
I love everything I've read for her. She's my favorite. I love her.
I feel like Girls' Weekend is the least I like of hers.
Mm-hmm. It was her first, wasn't it? Like, she's only gotten better. I actually think like in both books 2 and 3, like the Cambric Creek is also like I'm political is the wrong word because that's not what I mean. I mean it's very focused on the community of the world, and I get pretty bored by those parts of it too. Like
it gives small town romance vibes, like paranormal small town romance vibes.
Yeah, like it would like the romance very sweet. The first like 30% of that book, I was like, hey, I don't need to know all this setup. I just want to get to where they're gonna meet. And the same thing in like they said how steamy the Mothman one was, and like hardly anything happened for the first like. I'm like, this book is only 200 pages long, and you're making me wait so long.
That book was amazing.
It took too long to get started. We hardly got them together, and then she starts saying like, "Oh, we had sex and we don't see it," and I'm like, I don't like that in a romance. When they're just stuff, and then happy ever, and I'm like, I'm here for all this stuff. What are you doing?
They can be standalones.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the community, but the characters themselves, the romances can be read as standalones.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah.
So yes.
Yeah. I'm saying I like them. Heartbreaker.
I'm scared to read Heartbreaker because I really didn't like the first one.
That series is not my favorite.
I haven't liked any of Sarah McLean's most recent, so I avoid them. And
I liked Bombshell. I liked that one.
I haven't read any of them since the cheating book. Because I didn't like that Kardashian series, and then it just kind of like
Kardashian series.
The scandal stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Which one?
The ones with the sisters. That was based off the Kardashians.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did I not know this?
Yeah. I was like, I don't like it. I mean, I like the Kardashians. Don't get me wrong, but I didn't like that series.
I'm gonna read Heartbreaker because that was a 6-star for Crystal, so I will. But I'm probably not gonna read Bombshell because I
just haven't liked any of her recent books. I don't know.
I started Golden Angels historical series because I'm gonna be getting her book box for the newest one.
Her with all of my heart, literally all of my heart. Yeah. Golden Angel. Okay, guys, her books are very steamy. I literally read her books when I was like 15, probably super young to be reading them. And the other day she commented on one of my TikToks and I was like, I love you so much. Like she was my like reading under the cover, like hiding it under my pillow. Oh my God, I love her. I love her.
Her current series, she's trying to get her newest book on the New York Times bestseller list. So she reached out to some different people to like read her books. And I already had the first one because I was wanting to read it because the cover is like the covers for this historical series are.
What is her Instagram?
What
is her Instagram?
Golden Eye Angel or something.
Yeah, Golden Eye Angel, I think.
Yeah.
So I start with Philip's Rule. That's the first one that pops up on Goodreads.
Okay, well, here's the thing. Well, they're very steamy, very like BDSM steamy. Just so you know.
But okay, hold on. I read a season for Theresa, and I just read today. I read the whole thing today. The audiobooks are on AnyPlay. And they're in this one, she just says it's deception and discipline. And it's a group of like women who are spies who are helping out. One of the women, her uncle is like the spy master. And she's also like really involved in it. And so she gets her friends involved to like help her spy on stuff. So the one girl, she's supposed to spy on the Society, which is a BDSM club for the ton. And so she goes not knowing where she's walking into, but she goes to a masquerade ball there. And she sees some things and she's like, oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. But it's mostly spanking in that one. It's mostly just spanking that one, but like good times.
But her older stuff, like she has a Menage one, amazing. She has a historical romance series that's like BDSM. I've never heard anyone talk about her and I just love her so much.
Well, and her historical series all like connect. Mm-hmm. So like it starts with like there's a series that has 4 and one that has 6, and then this one has 4. And yeah, the newest one comes out this month. So I just started that. They're very like it was a solid start. I feel kind of the way about hers as I felt about like the Grace Callaways that I'm reading, where like they are very steamy. I'm not like totally sunk into the romance in this one because there was a lot of setting up kind of like the plot of this traitor and everything. And but this one ends up being like, because it's like scandal, like they each are involved in like a different scandal, so they have to have a marriage of convenience in it or whatever. But it was good, it was steamy, and I like the girl gang that's getting built. Like her friends are all really great, so I'm excited to binge those. So that's what I'm reading.
Okay, though, Jessica, I don't think you will like her older books because they're not much external conflict. It's more like smut, some of her older books. So I don't think Jessica, you'll like her book.
What about
Treason was good.
Let me find the one that my library has.
Her newer ones have more of like historical romance, like external plot vibes. Some of them are on KU.
And the covers
for Treason?
Yeah, A Season for Treason. She also isn't KU for the most part because she just likes being in control and doesn't like Amazon having control of stuff. So that's another reason I want to support her, even though I know not everyone will be able to because they do need KU to get her stuff. And also she has audiobooks for like most everything too. So that's really
all her books are on Scribd. If anyone has Scribd, they're there.
Yeah. I don't have Scribd.
Anyway.
Christy, what are you reading?
I'm currently reading like a bunch of Devney Perry, so just catching up on her backlist. I haven't read
her yet. I know Jessica has been telling me to read.
I just did like her Mason Jar duet, and then now I'm finishing up the Jameson Valley series.
Fun.
Nice.
Yeah. Very nice.
What?
Jessica gave me, that's why I was showing up.
Oh, hell yeah.
Do we want to talk about next month's book?
Yes.
I can't find it. Anyway.
Not both of us not having the book. I honestly
don't know where I put it. I rearranged stuff and I was like, I don't even know where this is.
What is it? Maybe I have it.
That's easy on me, Alana. I like to multitask.
We are reading Silver Flame by Hannah Howell.
Oh.
Because I don't have the book and
Silver. I found some of my Hannah Howell and then I was like, I don't know where it went. It used to be right there. She's
Silver
got the
Flame by Hannah Howell.
I only got 2 of hers. I don't got that one.
Yeah, I don't have that one.
She has a Beauty and the Beast one.
I don't have that. Yeah.
Oh, cool. All right.
So this is the original cover, but she did re-release them with new covers. So
yeah.
So
that will be our September pick on my channel.
Yay.
Nice.
I think we picked the date of the live show, did we?
Yes, but I don't remember.
Well, neither do I. You'll see us in September. We're so prepared, as you can tell.
Yeah, I think it's the 24th. Yeah,
I think so too.
Yeah.
This is so fun, guys.
Yeah, thank you
for joining, everybody.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I like this one.
I enjoyed the book. Yeah.
It was so fun.
I love it. I love that you all loved it.
Well, thank you for everybody for joining, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye, guys.